Hey, welcome to Texas Tough Chicks. We're glad to have you. And if it's your first time, welcome. If you're back for your poison, welcome back. And we're going to be discussing the US border today. And oh man, that's quite a discussion, huh? And in Texas, we're quite affected by that. We have millions coming across our border that are unaccounted for, and flooding of our border towns to the point where it's just it's a
They're kind of
disaster.
obliterated now.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so, Viv, I'll kind of let you start what your observation is from Texas perspective. How do you feel about this? What's going on?
I think the worst part is the government still insisting that there's no problem at the border, that there's the border's not open, which well, in whose world? My world it is. And then recently, the last I heard was that there's 80,000 children that are just missing, that came across the border either illegally, but were brought here and now are just missing. And so that's really disturbing to me. It's like, where are those children? And why are they missing? And who's not keeping track of them? And where are they going? And that's just bad. That's just really bad.
For what you just said, based on what you just said, I'd say it's not a secure border, like they're saying.
Oh, it's not. And anybody,
right?
Well,
who thinks it's a secure border? Like, what kind of moron thinks we have a secure border? Like,
and what makes me
do that? How do you say that?
Well, and here's the thing that really makes me angry too, is you hear the stories about that the razor wire and stuff that's being put up by the state of Texas to try to deter some of this, that the federal government is going in and cutting that wire and telling us we can't have all this protection because they're not doing their job. And that's what makes me insane. It's like, it is the federal government's job to secure the nation's borders. But Texas is taking the brunt of that. And also, I don't know how much money it's costing the state of Texas. I haven't even heard that number, but it's ridiculous.
Right. And this costing the state of Texas means taxpayers. The taxpayers of Texas are fitting the bill. And I've seen the actual videos, and it's just a simple Google or, Bing search or whatever you search on.
Right.
What is it? Go duck or duck go or whatever.
Duck go.
Yeah. I mean, just a simple search, and you could watch the videos of our own border patrol cutting those wires or lifting them up with I think a backhoe or a front load.
What kind of quality of life do they have if they come here?
Okay, exactly.
Let's go back to the whole conversation about we have a broken immigration system. It's not broken. What's broken is the enforcement of the laws. If you would enforce the laws, I think we would not have a broken system. It takes too long. I mean, I've heard stories of people that taken 10 years to get through the immigration system. Well, that's wrong. That shouldn't take that long. But then you hear the other stories, and this is, again, I watch all kinds of different reporters who are reporting on the border, and they're saying that the people who come across are paying the cartels anywhere from $1,000 to $10,000 a person.
Let me tell you about this broken system we have, this broken immigration system. My son married a foreign woman, has a bachelor's degree, has had won awards for music, and is a concert pianist. Just an outstanding citizen, never been married, never had any children, so she had no background. Took them over 2 freaking years and thousands of dollars to go through legally. And at some point I said to her, I'm just going to take you over to Mexico. We'll walk you across the border. We can just bypass all this BS that you're having to go through as someone that is easily vetted with no background, except for really good academic background, really good accomplishments. And that system, I mean, it's broken to the point that it's like ridiculous. Like, that's what's broken about it.
And what you're saying about her talents, her degree and everything. So, you hear these stories about they keep people out who are doctors and scientists and people who have, from Germany who are a doctor, but we're going to let people across the border illegally who can't speak our language, who don't understand our customs. How humane is that to them, even?
Right. That our government keeps looking into the camera and saying, it's a secure border. Our border's secure. And it's like, you think if you just say that enough,
Yeah.
that all of a sudden magically we're going to go, oh yeah, you know what? It's secure. We don't have anything to worry about. And I think the dumbing down of our young people, that's how they can do this stuff, is they can say
Right.
this stuff and think, okay, if we just say it, if we just keep repeating this over and over again, even if
Mhm.
they're looking with their own eyes and they see the thousands of people coming across and they hear all these statistics about missing children, 80,000 missing children,
Yeah.
somehow magically they'll just, like, I guess, believe the lie. I mean,
So
where's the media with
again,
that? Where's the media with that? Why
they don't,
aren't we
yeah.
seeing interviews of the towns on the Texas border? My cousin, a distant cousin, lives down right on the border there. He's not like his property isn't on the border, but he's close enough that he gets illegals walking through his property,
Yep.
sometimes knocking on his door. And
Yep.
and yeah, I mean, you have compassion for people. I mean, they might be thirsty and they might be in a dire thing. You don't know. I mean, how are they regulating if you don't know who's coming in? How are they regulating what's coming over with them? I mean, we already know fentanyl, but what about weapons?
What about
What about
terrorists?
bioweapons?
Yeah.
How
Yeah.
about
Yeah.
terrorists? We've already
Mhm.
seen the pictures.
Oh, well, no, the statistics now are what, 150 different countries, people that are on the terror watch list that are coming across and they're just disappearing into the system. And the latest statistic I heard was that the preponderance now are people from, or fighting age men from China. And they're
Oh, there you
showing
go.
up, and they're
There
showing
you
up
go.
next to our
Mhm.
bases.
Ridiculous. And I have to say, I love Governor Abbott sending them other places.
He has
These,
to.
what do you call it? Sanctuary cities.
Sanctuary
Boy, they sure
cities.
weren't sanctuary cities, were they? They weren't
No,
anything.
Martha's Vineyard was the best one, where they
Oh, that
showed
was
up
the
there. What was there,
best.
maybe 20 of them that showed up at Martha's Vineyard, and they were going, "Oh, no, no, we don't
We
have
have
the
no
services. We can't
room.
take care of these
We have no
people," and blah,
room
blah,
for
blah.
them. My
And then
3 acres,
bam,
I
they were
don't have any
gone.
room for them. My
And
15-bedroom house, I don't have any room for them.
yeah, and in
This is
24
unfair
hours,
for
they were
them. And
gone.
then did you see how they stood there when the immigrants are getting back on the bus and how they stood there applauding them like they were
Uh-huh.
supporting them? And I was like,
Oh, yeah.
you're so full of BS. You're such hypocrites. You just
Yep.
totally are so glad to get rid of them. You're so
Yep.
okay with them being in the southern part of Texas and overwhelming people who
Right.
can't afford your 3 acres of 15-bedroom house. And you know what?
Right.
This is another thing. People's like, oh, we should let, I say, you have a room in your house?
Yep.
That's yeah. Well, if you don't have a room in your house that you're willing to give up, then shut up.
Right.
I'm
Exactly.
done with this. I'm done with
Oh,
this.
yeah.
Don't be sympathetic because you don't want them with you. You don't want them in your backyard. You don't want them in your town either. And
Right.
you're going to tell the rest of the country that we have to somehow absorb them.
Mm-hmm.
And what if so simply we just put an agent at the border and said, okay, you're going to come in, you're going to get facial recognition. You know why? If that's simple, that all you would have to do is do that facial recognition. Because you know what? I guess they're doing it to American citizens at the airport.
Yeah.
The other day I was at the airport and they said, I heard this announcement over the loudspeaker. Well, we have facial recognition at the gate. So if you don't want it, you at least have the choice, I guess, at this point
Wow.
to not have it. And I'm like, these are American citizens,
Mm-hmm.
99% of them American citizens, and they won't do facial recognition on the border for someone
Right.
who's coming in. That's a simple picture. That's just a simple program that does a 3D
Right.
scan basically. And as they're
Right.
coming across, because I'm seeing the pictures, I'm
Yep.
watching the videos of them coming across, so someone's taping them. And
Yes, that's
so
right.
why don't you do that so at least we can track them? But they
Right.
won't even do that because they have to admit there's a problem.
Oh,
Open up your own home. If that is really what you
yes.
need, open your home. Open up your
Right. Right.
backyard, whatever. You know what?
Well, and again,
You should be on the front lines in it, welcoming in and feeding them and clothing them,
right.
making sure they
Right.
have the insurance and making
Right.
sure their kids have education. Then you do it. If you do it, then I don't have to worry about it because it's
Right.
not gonna come
Exactly.
out of my tax-paying money, right?
Right.
It's not
Right.
gonna it's not gonna steal from my children and my grandchildren if
Right.
you
Right.
do
Right.
it because you're the one who wants to do it.
Right. Right. Exactly.
Sorry, I'm
But
pissed.
no, that's true. And it's like I said, it goes back to what we were talking about earlier. How humane, they always scream humane, we're being inhumane. How humane is it to put a person into a country where they don't speak the language, they don't understand how anything is done? They don't know how to do anything according to the new country. That's not humane.
See, even the mayor of New York, his last statement where he's like finally like not being pissy about it anymore. He's finally like, I think,
Oh, he's
really
asking the
realizing,
Biden administration for
yeah,
help now. It's like
he's
you're
finally
asking the
realizing what
person
it's
who
like.
created the disaster to help you. How? Yeah,
Yeah.
really,
Yeah.
really.
He
So,
started off by just blaming Abbott, and then
oh yeah,
he did that for quite a while. And then finally, he was just like, "This is a disaster. You know,
yeah,
this is just a nightmare." And I said, "Wow, welcome to our world." You know,
right. And we've been. Oh, and how many? A couple thousand. I think he's got a couple thousand he's had to deal
yeah.
with or
Oh
whatever.
yeah, nothing.
We're in how many millions now in Texas that we've had to
Yeah,
deal with? Millions,
millions.
millions. And the numbers are not right. I mean, how many
Oh
years?
right.
Even before all this, you remember back to all the times they were talking about the people that are in the country illegally. There's like 11 million. I mean,
Right.
they use that same number for decades, and you're going, so what are we at now?
Right.
Probably 60
30.
million? I don't know.
Probably 30.
Oh.
I did just hear, and I have nothing to back this up, but I did just hear that the estimate is 30 million, which is 10% of our population,
And that's
which
just since
is
Biden took
horrifying.
office.
Yeah, that's horrifying.
Is
And they're not
they're not our
families
neighbors from
either.
Mexico. They're
Quit
not.
seeing their families, because what you're seeing is when you see children, they're being carried by men only. And I'm like, what the hell is that?
Oh, and there's horrible stories. I mean, I heard one that was in El Paso about a guy that somebody just happened to hear this child crying, and it was a kid that was like 2 years old, just standing there by himself crying because the
Oh,
person who got across the border illegally by bringing a child in had just dumped
oh
that
my
kid. Didn't care if he died. And then, finding another one, it was like a 2-year-old with an infant that were
God.
dehydrated and about dead. So there's all kind of despicable stuff
Oh,
being done to children. So
horrible.
I don't,
Sorry about
I
that.
don't. This has got to stop. This has got to
It's got to
stop.
stop. I mean, like I said, I love our Hispanic population. Actually, I
Yes,
really do. I
yes,
enjoy them. I enjoy their families. Let's bring them
absolutely.
in legally. Let's bring in the
Right.
ones really that need and
Help.
that want to
Right.
be American, want to be
Right.
here, they want to work. We love them. Let's bring them in legally, and let's make it easier for them to get here legally.
If you can't protect your border, you're not a sovereign nation anymore. And
Right.
if we're not a sovereign nation, then we can't help anybody, can we? We can't even
Right.
help ourselves. You have to remain a sovereign nation to help anybody.
And we're helping
So,
to protect Ukraine's border,
oh, really? Yeah.
but we're not we're not protecting our own.
Well, I heard
So
we didn't. I think we built a wall around Jordan too. We
uh,
helped build a wall around Jordan or something like
oh
that.
my
It's just,
gosh. I don't even want to hear those things. That just makes me spit fire. It just so I'd say better keep your guns. Better
yep,
keep your
yep,
guns.
yep, yep.
I mean, I say that all the time, but I mean, it really comes down to we may be having to defend ourselves. I don't know. It just seems like we're in wacko world right now.
In the event that we do have a better president the next time,
Mhm.
um, what's going to happen? I mean, if they do shut down the border, what's going to happen with all these people that are already here? What are they going to do about all those people that are here illegally that may be here to do us harm? So again, the problem is not going to stop immediately just because we finally have somebody who will do the right thing and protect this nation. We've got a
Yeah.
lot of cleanup behind that too.
Boy,
So,
we sure do. Yeah. But I mean, at least we need to stop that
yeah,
floodgate.
plug
We've
it,
got to
stop it,
stop the floodgate.
shut it
But like
down.
you said, there has to be something done right now with what's and go to our representatives and our congressmen and our senators and tell them, shut down our border, make
Mhm.
our country secure. We
Right,
do
right.
not want the October 7th here. We don't want it.
No,
You
no,
know,
we don't. But it
so
may be coming. It may be coming.
maybe
So,
coming. So, okay, well, we got to wrap it up, but
okay,
nice to talk to you again. And
good talking to you.
so we just want to tell everyone you need to stay Texas tough.
Texas, tough.